part of our long-standing commitment, we bring you gavel-to-gavel coverage of the House. We take you live now to the floor of the House.
To make corrections in the engrossment of H.R. 6201.
Is there objection to the consideration of the resolution?
Madam Speaker, would reserve the right to object.
Gentleman is recognized on his reservation.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. We had rushed this bill to the floor, and I'd say rushed. It had been an all-day thing Thursday and all-day event Friday, and most of us were not part of the negotiations. We kept getting different versions of the bill that was going to be coming to the floor, and about 9 o'clock I got the latest rendition and had read that and made a lot of notes and tags and things I was concerned about, and then I thought that was what we were going to be voting on that night, but then there was a new version filed immediately before midnight, and we voted about 12:30. And so I had real concerns about some of the wording, some of the problems. And of course, as President Obama said, you know, elections have consequences. The majority is going to get a whole lot more of what they want in a bill than the minority. Totally understand that. But there were some concerns about matters, and I'm very concerned about small businesses. It had been changed from other laws, exempting those with over 50 or more, like in Obamacare, employees. And yet in this one, it changed exempting under 500 to under 50. I'm sorry, applying to everybody under 500. That included all those under 50. Big concerns that it was going to overwhelm some of our smallest businesses. We know a majority of Americans work for small businesses. They create more job opportunities. So this was a big deal, but though I didn't support the bill and still have big concerns, I'm very grateful for the efforts of the majority, the President, the Secretary of the Treasury, and staff members of our minority leader that have continued to negotiate and work to try to get some of these problems figured out. And so there's no question in my mind at this point, what are being called technical corrections make the bill better than it was when it got passed in the wee hours Saturday morning. So because of that, Madam Speaker, I withdraw my objection to the technical corrections, so there may be unanimous consent now that I withdraw my objection.
The reservation is withdrawn. Without objection, the resolution is agreed to, and the motion to reconsider is laid upon the table.
Chair lays before the House of Communication.
Chair lays before the House of Communication.
The Honorable the Speaker, House of Representatives, Madam, this is to notify you formally, pursuant to Rule 8 of the Rules of the House of Representatives, that I, Dean Lester, have been served with a subpoena for testimony issued by the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia. After consultation with the Office of House Employment Counsel, I have determined that compliance with the subpoena is consistent with the privileges and rights of the House. Signed sincerely, Dean Lester, Financial Administrator, Office of Representative Henry Cuellar.
For the House of Communication.
Chair lays before the House of Communication.
The Honorable the Speaker, House of Representatives, Madam, pursuant to the permission granted in Clause 2H of Rule 2 of the Rules of the U.S. House of Representatives, the clerk received the following message from the Secretary of the Senate on March 16, 2020 at 3 p.m., that the Senate passed with an amendment, H.R. 4920, that the Senate agreed to without amendment House Concurrent Resolution 87. With best wishes, I am, signed sincerely, Cheryl L. Johnson.
Chair lays before the House of Communication.
The Honorable the Speaker, House of Representatives, Madam, pursuant to the permission granted in Clause 2H of Rule 2 of the Rules of the U.S. House of Representatives, the clerk received the following message from the Secretary of the Senate on March 16, 2020 at 6:24 p.m. that the Senate passed Senate 3501. With best wishes, I am, signed sincerely, Cheryl L. Johnson.
Pursuant to Section 7B of House Resolution 891, the House stands adjourned until 9 a.m. on Thursday, March 19th, 2020.
So that wraps up tonight's quick House session as members passed by unanimous consent a coronavirus economic aid package. The legislation provides 2 weeks of paid leave for sick or quarantined workers while also extending state unemployment insurance programs. The measure now makes its way to the Senate for consideration, and we should see debate on that tomorrow. Follow the Senate Live Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern on C-SPAN 2.